All tricks, no treats in the Medicare space.
What can it be? What can it be? Oh, hi there. It's my birthday. I'm Christian Brindle.
Area 51, 100%. I'm in. There's alien technology that we've been trying to recreate. The government's been lying about this one for a long time. It's so unhinged.
My goodness, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust podcast. One episode closer to not having to watch that intro.
I don't want it to go away. I'm obsessed with that intro. The best part, hands down, though, is that we had a serious marketing effort that turned into a horror clip in that intro.
Yes.
The birthday clip.
The whole basis of what you just said there is a serious marketing endeavor that we went off on. We put a lot of time and effort into creating. Guys, welcome back to.
It's just horror.
It is, and it was from the beginning. Guys, welcome back to the show. Seven Figures or Bust podcast, episode 169, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. We are officially on day 2 of the A, E, and the P. I'm Christian Brindle, joined with Glenn Shelton as always, and we have an awesome show lined out for you guys today. Glenn held the fort down yesterday without me.
Oh, solo.
Let's give a round of applause.
It's tough to do it solo because I feel like sometimes I need a sounding board. And I'm like, is anything I'm saying making any sense?
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. It was fun. I feel like there's so much to talk about today. One thing that came up, I just saw like 10 hours ago. I don't know if you saw this. So Tuesday's episode, so not yesterday, but episode 167, we talked about a major carrier that was going to be contacting their Medicare supplement clients.
Yes.
And basically informing them that there's MA plans available if they want to switch.
Not just informing them, encouraging them.
Right.
To change to an MA plan.
And because of the language in the announcement was because of the difference in product lines, there's no way they could keep the agent of record. That was their explanation. There was an update from this carrier that came out.
Correct.
Did you see that?
Yesterday. I did indeed. I get the
Let's
emails. So yeah, I mean, and I can only kind of chalk this up to public backlash from the agent community.
Yes.
But essentially the carrier decided to walk it back. So they're still going to be doing this, but not for beneficiaries that have an agent of record on file. We actually were this close to sending an email blast out to all of our clients with SUPs with this carrier. We really were. We put it together. The email was ready. We were about to hit the send button. And then that email dropped and we're like, stop, don't send it. So yeah. I'm not exaggerating by that much. Like it was on the 5-yard line, ready to go. And that email could not have been more timely. It's like, wait, like, because us sending it without that actually happening, it's not something we want to have to go to our clients and say, hey, just so you know, your insurance company is going to be doing this and don't do it. Like that's basically what the email was saying. For lack of a better phrasing. But yeah, they decided to walk that back. And I think I don't think that would ever have happened if the Agent Online Facebook group communities did not exist. I really don't.
Totally. The unification of our voices made a difference. I really believe that. I really believe that. We've had so much bad news that we talked about. To have a good news story like this, I think is awesome. Right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how you felt when you saw that, but when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like positive change. And I guarantee you it was messaging coming from the bottom to the top, repetitive messaging, explaining how upset we were. It's interesting because I feel like I'm starting to see a bit of a shift in a lot of this. Another friend of ours in the industry reached out to their attorney general about some of the non-commissionable plans and what's been going on with that at the carrier level. And the attorney general responded. And I thought that was awesome. Like it's getting to that point where I feel like there's positive momentum from the agent community, the broker community. I know Hafa, we're actively reaching out to Renelle. We'd like to get her back on the show. I know Hafa's doing a lot of great work right now, so keep it up, you guys. Keep it up. Great work.
I think, I always kind of looked at this as the pendulum swings back and forth. You guys have heard me say this many times. And I believe the pendulum's swinging the other way right now, and it's going to swing back the other way. But if we're just silent about everything that happens, maybe it doesn't swing back the other way. Right?
Right.
So I do think, the voices are important. I think it's different to speak out about what you feel about something versus being like, all plans non-commissioned. Like that type of verbiage. Like that's not helping anything. It's also not true. Like when carriers see that, I know because I have conversations with a lot of people that work at carriers, especially this time of the year, and they don't take that when they see those messages. They're like, all plans, no commissionable plans, no good plans. Like they just roll their eyes and they're like, that person's stupid.
Yeah.
Like this is an unserious person.
It doesn't like it almost harms more than it helps, to be honest. That type of communication.
And when somebody actually understands what's going on and they're eloquently kind of opinionating without bashing the carrier over the head with a spatula, but they're articulating a point.
A spatula. That's my weapon of choice. The other day, you used the silver arrow. You said you used the term in one of your videos I was watching the other day. You're like, it's not a silver arrow. I'm like, did he mean silver bullets? I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, give me the silver arrow.
Which video is this?
It was the T65 video we just put out the other day. You're like T65. It's not necessarily a silver arrow for everybody. I'm like, silver arrow. I'm like, are we werewolf hunting here? Like, let's go.
Well, I don't share what I do on the weekends. That's my business, okay?
Give me the silver spatula. I've got somebody to kill.
When I think of getting hit with something and it being very dramatic and traumatic, I think of a spatula at times. I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
It's like all these weapons. Christian just goes to the kitchen, pulls out the spatula.
There's an intruder in my home. I'm not going to go for my gun. I'm not going to.
I don't have time for that. We're flipping this omelet, though. I'll tell you that.
Listen, the gun takes time to load. Get the spatula. I have an AK-47. We don't need that.
God, so funny.
Oh my goodness. No, I think but I think like proper articulate verbiage that actually represents an understanding of what's going on, I think means a lot. And I think
the right channels,
panic,
too.
doom and gloom, no plans.
Yeah. I think getting sending the message through the right channels too. Sometimes posting in Facebook groups is a bit akin to screaming into the wind. Seeing an agent reach out to their attorney general and the attorney general responding, that's awesome. That's somebody who has, representation at a much bigger level than any of us do at an individual broker level. Not to say that it's actually going to make any type of difference. It might not, but that's the type of momentum I love to see in the community. So, reach out to the DOI, reach out, support your broker representatives. I just saw Gaylin is in Washington, D.C. right now. Who knows what she's up to? Probably no good, but
no good. I publicly gave some props to NBIP the other day. So if you didn't see that in the Facebook group, I read their entire letter that they sent to Oz about kind of what's going on, and some of the stuff they're asking for is definitely a pipe dream, but if you don't ask, the answer is always no, right? So why not? In their letter, they were asking for essentially non-commissionable plans are not allowed to be put out after 10/1. I'm like, great. I think that's a very practical rule.
Very simple. Yes.
Scope 48-hour scope rule going away was on the agenda.
See ya.
Of course, we'll see what actually happens, but I give them props for actually, sending something, appearing to do something. I try to be fair with them, and some people think I just beat them up and over the years, and I don't try to do that. I just try to call it based on what I'm seeing that's happening or not happening. So in this case, it seems like that was a good step forward. So yeah, good things I think are happening. It's kind of slowed down the past week of bad news coming out. I felt like I've seen nearly as much of it this week. Although bad news typically comes out on Friday, so that is tomorrow. So...
Thanks for that.
So we'll see.
Part of what I wanted to get into as well before we got to the main topic was, here we are, day 2 of AEP officially. Thoughts on, what this AEP will, there's been so much speculation from us and everyone else about, what this will end up looking like for months now. Here we are, we're actually in it. Any thoughts on how this will be different than other AEPs, or, any speculation from before, either from us or from anyone else in the space that you feel like they were right, they were wrong, that you'd want to comment on here before we get into the main topic? Also, day 16 of the government shutdown. Shout out to everybody who's keeping track. So I'm 29 days away from accurate prediction there. So we'll stay tuned on that. But anyways, yes, continue.
Yeah, I think this AEP is different because what you just said right there, due to the government shutdown, there's kind of, my understanding is, a skeleton crew for CMS. So it's not that CMS is shut down. Like even on Medicare.gov's website, it says, things you're seeing on here might not be accurate because of the government shutdown. They might be older or things like that. So I think apps will take longer to get processed than normal. And apps traditionally during AEP at times with some carriers can be delayed because there's so much volume coming in. I think we'll see more of that. So that's probably a different thing. I don't think there's ever been an AEP, at least since I've been here, that we had a government shutdown during AEP. So I think that's an important thing. But outside of that, it's just making sure that, you are, paying attention to what the carriers are putting out. If there is any new verbiage that comes out, like, I wouldn't completely shut the door. I don't want to be negative, but I wouldn't completely shut the door on more suppressed non-commissionable plans coming out. So, and taking effect in November, so as many enrollments as you can get done now, just from a superstition perspective, squeezing them in,
it's October
is probably a good thing. But no, other than that, I don't think it is very different than a normal AEP. There's a lot of There's a lot of plan cancellations, more than we've probably ever seen. So that's certainly an element to this. But yeah, I don't think it's anything too outlandish than that.
I'll say my fears surrounding what you just said there of more non-commissionable plans being announced. And the reason why I would bet money that we will, again, I don't want to be a doomsday, a doomer here on the pod this morning, but the carriers are essentially trying to predict, right? It's all about them trying to guess, this is what this will look like based on X number of enrollments, etc. If they get plans that they see go way beyond the enrollment numbers that they were anticipating, what will they do to try to slow down business being written under those plans? Just like what we saw last year, mid AEP, right? Oh, we'll keep paying you guys on these plans, but paper only. Things like that, where they're trying to suppress these plans because, again, their actuary numbers, whatever the behind the scenes, the actual business models for the carriers look like. Obviously, we're not privy to all that information, right? Sometimes you might get some of it, right? Some obviously publicly traded companies, especially after the fact, you might get a little peek behind the curtains. But as of what's happening right now for these plans, you have to be working at the executive level for the carriers to really know. So I would not be surprised. I'll agree with Christian here on this one. Is I wouldn't be surprised if end of October we see some more non-commissionable plans in certain areas. I don't think it'll be crazy, but unfortunately, one more non-commissionable plan gets announced, and I'm sure the community will be grabbing pitchforks, spatulas, and their silver arrows to take to the streets because they're so upset.
And then I can just see the post flooding. No plans, all plans.
I'm done. Who wants my book? I'm giving it away for free.
Why buy an asset that's not an asset? We should get to this episode sponsor, because I do want to spend as much time as possible on the main topic. There's a lot to talk about here. Guys, episode 169 is brought to you by none other than Lead Heroes. We are still in MedSup Awareness Month, and many of you may recall throughout the year we predicted or maybe even talked about the potential of a Medicare supplement funeral. And we believe that because of all the good work that we've done so far this month and will continue to do for MedSup Awareness Month, that we are literally causing MedSup to rise from the dead like a zombie. So picture your F's, your G's. It's like a Thriller video with letters.
Back to life.
And we are on a mission to save the subs, and there's no better way to do that than picking up $19 Medicare supplement exclusive. Lead Hero leads this AEP, specifically in October before this promotion ends. Typically, these leads are $40 a pop, so they are down over 50%, down to $19 when you purchase a minimum of $30. So if you want to save the subs, grow your business with Medicare supplement this AEP, which is a great opportunity to do so, right? There's a lot of negative verbiage going online and abroad with the media about Medicare Advantage. Maybe just lean into it. Sell some MedSup this AEP, right? Yesterday was October 15th. I saw a ton of big YouTubers posting videos about how Medicare Advantage plans are literally killing people and taking people's homes and setting fires and burning down towns and everything else in between. Lean into it. Sell some MedSup this AEP. $19 MedSup leads. Anything you want to add, Mr. Glenn?
I've got a video coming out, I believe tomorrow, about what your ROI can look like working with our $19 Medicare supplement leads from Lead Heroes. And not to give away, all the secrets from that video early here, but even at a 5% closing rate, you're looking at a 1.6 ROI. So you are literally getting your money back and seeing a positive ROI, even if you only close 5%, which I would argue a monkey could probably close 1 out of 20 of these leads. And then I go through the numbers and I show what does it look like? What does it look like if you close 10%, 15%, 20%? And you can see what the ROI is, lifetime client value, CPA. It's a great video. I'm excited to get it out to you guys. I'll also mention too, until Friday, my book, How to Qualify, Present, and Sell Final Expense and Medicare Supplements to Seniors. You can search my name on Amazon, Glenn Shelton. You can search the book title, How to Qualify, Present, and Sell. You can download this for free until the end of day Friday. If you want a paperback version like this, it's $8. If you want to learn more about Medicare supplements, here's another great way to do it. In honor of Medicare Supplement Awareness Month, you can download this for free. So check it out. Head over to Amazon.com. Head over to leadheroes.com. Get those $19 exclusive call verified Medicare supplement leads today. Mr. Lester already dropped the link to the Lead Heroes discount for you guys right there in the comments below this video. So click it. Stop listening to us. Go to Lead Heroes. Shut it off. Shut it off right now.
Hashtag save the subs. All right. Let's shift gears into the main topic at hand. Okay, so
Clutch. We need like a mid segment. I need a mid segment like intro video. It's like us. It's like us F1 racing. The main topic.
With AI, anything is possible, my friend.
That's right.
Okay, so getting into the main topic at hand, right? So a couple months ago, we covered something that had been going on where there was this FMO release pledge that had came out that was put out by an organization called Chapter. Now, for those of you that don't know what Chapter is essentially your biggest competitor right now as an agent. It's not your fellow agents. It's not even the call centers anymore. It's Chapter. I mean, Chapter really is a glorified call center, but they have kind of really maneuvered and positioned themselves in a way that they are trying to use their marketing to demonize agents. Their marketing is essentially, hey, don't work with agents. They steer you to plans based on what's best for them. They're greedy. They're unethical. Fuck them. Call us. We're Chapter. It's basically the messaging on all their advertising.
We're Chapter.
And they are going about and paying large sums of money to advertise with big celebrities. I saw them advertise on the Piers Morgan show where Piers Morgan was reading a read-in about Chapter.
That's crazy.
Dr. Phil, all types of, big name celebrities that are out there. I actually have the Dr. Phil video pulled up, but before I do so, it actually goes down the rabbit hole. Before I do that, it actually goes down the rabbit hole quite a bit when you get into like what Chapter's all about, right? Like Chapter was co-founded by none other than Vivek Ramaswamy. So I'm going to actually ask ChatGPT, tell me what is the Medicare company Chapter?
Chatty G. Shout out to Chatty G.
Okay, so it's a Medicare advisory navigation firm, helps people find plans. It does the same thing that you do, guys. They do the same exact things that we all do, right? Chapter's not a government Medicare program, blah, 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 but works as a licensed insurance agency. Interesting. So they try to position themselves as they're not an insurance agency, but they very much are. Now, I should say, who founded Chapter?
I think the irony is that they really do position themselves as like a nonprofit, essentially. Like if you read their messaging, you would think they're like a nonprofit trying to just get the message out, not that they're a sales organization.
Right. Super dishonest, super unethical. So here you go. Chapter was co-founded by Kobe. If you guys remember, this is the individual that went before the Senate Finance Committee and essentially threw agents under a bus, while not disclosing that they are an insurance agency themselves, a call center, right? They're eHealth, they're SelectQuote. Like, let's be real. Corey Metzman, I don't know who that is, and of course, familiar name, Vivek Ramaswamy, presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh wow! So that's who I thought you were. But I thought maybe it's got to be someone different. But wow, it's really the same guy.
Yes. So this goes a little deeper than you might realize. Okay. Now, for those of you that might be thinking, "Oh, Christian's making too big of a deal about this," I'm going to show you this Dr. Phil ad. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
And then I want to talk a little bit more about, like, what does this mean, right? Because this is clearly a private equity funded company that came out a couple months ago, actually this year, that they had raised $70 million in investment money. And they're trying to stomp each and every one of you out. Now, some of your FMOs, like the Little Flame Company, is advocating for them. They're partnering with them.
We pledge.
So many of you, your FMO is advocating for your demise. I hope you know that. I don't know. I think that I'd like to know that if that was me. Okay, so let's get into this Dr. Phil ad.
Dr. Phil. Here we go.
Now, this was very hard to find. Actually, the only reason I was able to find it was one of you thankfully shared it into the Facebook group. But you can't find it on Google. It's a paid ad, right? You can't find it on Dr. Phil's page.
I love seeing your comment right
and look at my comment. Yeah. I will use my voice in any way I can. Okay. Okay, let's listen to this ad. So the ad starts off like this, right? It's the text is compare 2026 Medicare Advantage plans, paid partnership with Chapter. The Medicare annual enrollment periods goes from October 15th through December 7th. Even if you're happy with your plan, looking in 2026 plans is critical because Medicare plans change every year and some will go away entirely. People who
If you're 64 or older, this is important. Ever tried to pick a Medicare plan and felt like you were nailing Jell-O to a tree? Or visited the Medicare website and found it about as useful as a steering wheel on a mule? Yep, we've all been there. Medicare is confusing, and many of those helpful brokers only recommend plans that pay them the most. That's why you have got to talk to my partners at Chapter. They're the only advisors that compare every Medicare plan nationwide to find out what's actually best for you. They've saved the average senior $1,100 a year. They'll even help if you're hit with wrongful medical bills. That's the kind of help that puts gas in your tank. The best part? Their service is free. They can review your options in under 20 minutes. So if you're on Medicare or going to be soon, click the link below to get in touch and feel confident in your Medicare coverage.
Okay, so when I first saw that, I'll start.
Your audio's behind.
How about now? Better?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll start. When I first saw that, I was nauseous because everything they're talking about is the same thing that each and every one of you do for your clients. Free service, advocate for what's going to be best for them. I know for a fact that the vast majority of you if there was a plan you couldn't sell that was just head and shoulders better for a client, you would tell them about it. You wouldn't hide it from them like they're trying to portray. And your services are free. You help with customer service. You help with claims. We certainly do.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's like putting out a paid messaging behind a celebrity voice, pretending like we don't do that, and they are the only ones that do that, and that they're not even an insurance agency. They'll never describe themselves as an insurance broker or agency, even though it's what they are. And their messaging is everywhere, by the way. For any of you that are paying attention, they're everywhere, this AEP. And they're coming for your neck. Every single agent that's watching this, they're coming for you. What are your thoughts on that video?
It almost felt like I was watching an AI video of Dr. Phil. I don't know if he's just getting old or if that was just a horrible read-in by him, but man, what an atrocious ad that was.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy to me because, again, my perspective coming into this topic with Chapter, because like my first exposure to them was through the quote unquote pledge. And again, if you look at kind of the branding that first came to market, you wouldn't think they were a sales organization. Like, it's just not how they portray themselves. So to get to this point now where here they are and they're really trying to put agents and brokers under the bus just to get ahead. And essentially, again, they're doing the same exact thing. We do it for free. Brokers are doing it to get paid. Well, what do you think they're doing? It's like, obviously they're getting paid to sell too. Like, it's all a smoke and mirrors game for sure. Yeah, I guess I'm just surprised to see their ability, and maybe karma will get them on this one. The trying to do this roundabout, portraying themselves as holier than thou, the virtue signaling, maybe it'll actually catch up to them. I hope it does. I hope the broker community is smart enough to educate their clients about Chapter and what's really going on here, because whoever's doing, the strategic marketing over there, they're clearly trying to portray themselves as something different than the other guys, right? We're not the other guys, right? That's definitely what they're going for.
Yeah. And, this isn't new messaging from them. This is just the loudest their messaging has ever been.
Yes.
I wanted to point that out.
Right.
Like, on the podcast we did months ago where we talked about this pledge, I showed a video of Kobe, whatever that his name is, the CEO, testifying before the Senate Finance Committee and essentially using a lot of that same messaging. Agents basically painting a picture that agents are victimizing their clients on a day-to-day basis all over the country, and it's an epidemic, is kind of the picture that he painted before the Senate Finance Committee. So this is not anything new that they've just recently started doing. They've been doing this since the beginning. Now they just have a louder microphone to do it at. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys got to be aware of this because your clients are seeing this messaging everywhere.
Yeah. So I wanted to read the post that came up. This is less than 24 hours old in the Facebook group. Part of the reason why we felt it was important to talk about this today. From Joseph. Anyone else losing referrals to Chapter lately? A few of my targeted referral source firms just brought them on for Medicare support. My loyal advisors no doubt will stick with me because they know the service I deliver. But how are you handling it when a new advisor says, we don't need you because we can use Chapter? Curious how others are responding to this VC-backed takeover attempt. Looking for some real-world strategies here. So this might be a good place to transition to on like, what can you really do to combat this?
So I have some thoughts about that.
Yeah, please do.
I think, really kind of painting the picture of what I would do if I was talking to a client is I would say they are a glorified call center. And we've seen this before. call centers broadly don't have the local area of expertise that a local broker can give you. We've seen this with all types of call centers before. And I would remind them of the Joe Namath company, the Jimmy J.J. Walker companies, these celebrity endorsements. They're doing the same thing. So I would pair them together. And I'd be like, these companies, they have horrible reputations because they are just big, giant, glorified call centers, right? They're not any different than me. It's just I know this local area better than they ever could. When you call them, you're getting someone in a cubicle somewhere, not somebody that's local. So that's how I would attack it from there in terms of a client. The other thing I would be doing is if your FMO supports this company, you need to ask for a release right now.
Yeah.
You need to get away.
There was a comment on this post from Lori, and she said, I thought it was great. She goes, if my FMO endorsed them, I'd find a new FMO.
Yeah.
I love it. Love
And
it. Yes.
I challenge every agent that's with the Little Flame Company to bring this to them and ask them to explain themselves.
Yeah.
I challenge you, all of you that are with the Little Flame Company, because they're the only FMO I'm aware of that really supported them. And that tells me that they're the only FMO that is against the interest of their partnered agents.
Yeah, it sounds like there might be some data selling happening behind the scenes too. At least that's what's being alleged in this comment thread. I don't have any evidence of that. That chapter is essentially selling out people's data behind the scenes. Who knows if that's true or not, but
yeah, I don't know anything about that specifically, but it's clear, right? Like their messaging is agents need to go away and you need to work with us. That's basically what they're saying in all their communication.
Yeah.
It's very aggressive. And I think all of you guys should not be ignoring it. You need to be paying attention to this. You need to be holding people accountable that partner with them. And when your clients talk about it, it's important that you be aware of who they are and what they do so you can accurately combat it.
Most likely this messaging will just continue to escalate, right?
Yeah,
This will probably just get louder. They have funding behind them. So, even if they have a quote unquote bad year or bad AEP, they're not going anywhere anytime soon, right? They're most likely going to be here for the long haul. So my guess is we'll see more messaging, more ads. You're going to see this come up with your clients. And so I do think it's important, we've talked on the show about, educating your clients, kind of setting your clients up for success. And this is, I think, one of those same types of conversations where you need to make sure that your clients are aware. Hey, there's a lot of really big entities out there. They're trying to factory farm the Medicare experience. They might try to portray smaller agents and agencies like me in a bad light, but the reality is they can't possibly provide the service that I can provide you. They can't possibly know the local market the way I know the local market.
Right.
Being able to really set yourself apart, and maybe demonize the bigger company here, which I feel like for, obviously some Medicare beneficiaries might see that type of messaging from Dr. Phil and they might think this is amazing and they might buy in on that. But I feel like the average Medicare beneficiary is going to look at this situation and be like, yeah, I want to work with the local guy. I don't want to work with the giant corporation, right?
If you look at the comments on that, I'm seeing if I can pull them up right now. This is so bad. This format here shows me like a tiny little bit of the comments. I have to scroll every little bit, but essentially what I'm trying to get at is most of the comments are negative. Yeah. 99% of them. There's like 200 comments on this video.
Yeah.
There are not. I'm trying to see. Okay, here's one right here. He's one of the last people I'd trust for advice. I'll stick to the one I have.
No kidding.
Thank you. shilling for another paycheck, Dr. Phil. You know, there's no positive comments that I've read on this, so that's encouraging for sure. But,
Yeah.
you know, I've heard agents mention several times now that they are losing clients to Chapter, this AEP. And I think it's because they're being painted in a position where it's like that your client feels like they can't trust you anymore, because it feels like, you know, you make $1,000 with this plan and $100 with this plan, and you're going to sell the one that pays you $1,000. That's almost like what they're portraying. Not so much that, you know, all commissions are standardized. It's very dishonest at marketing. They get paid the same way. Let's not get it twisted. So yeah, I to me, it's very disturbing, very troubling. I think you can combat it as agents, but you need to be aware of this. And anytime you see anybody, really prop them up, know that they're propping up your demise. That's what they want. Because that's what the goal of this company is, to take so much market share from all of you that you can't exist anymore.
Yeah, I think, you know, education's key. Being aware of what's going on is key. Obviously, I think some of you, just like this comment that's less than 24 hours old, you know, some of you might not know what Chapter is. This might be the first time you've ever heard about Chapter, right? So I think being informed is super important. And again, that's part of why we do this show, right? Is we want to make sure you guys understand what's going on and that you're informed about certain issues like this one. So I found this very illuminating. I think there's a lot to be said here, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have a part 3 to this in the future as we continue to see more from Chapter. Hey, also shout out to the Little Flame Company for propping up Chapter.
Isn't that nice? Flame. Like, I mean, what kind of message does that send to your agents if, you know, you supposedly have their best interests in mind, but you're supporting a company that literally puts public messaging out that the agents you work with are bad, evil, greedy people.
They're screwing you over. Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you know anybody that's partnered with a Little Flame Company, send them this video, tag them on this video.
It's true though. And again, the scary part is because a lot of this is, I think agents aren't informed. Like I just said a second ago, you know, there's a comment on this thread that says no FMO endorses them, ... Well, at least to my knowledge. Right. So it's like, well, you're wrong. I bet there's probably even more FMOs than just the Little Flame Company that have signed the pledge.
I'm not aware of any other than that. I did some research leading into today's episode. I can't find anyone else.
Well, hopefully it's just them, because it's a crime against the whole industry. Anyone that props up Chapter. So we'll see. Maybe behind the scenes there's been someone that's endorsed them, but they just haven't made it public. But hopefully, if again more agents and brokers become aware of who Chapter is and what they do and what their messaging is, that it'll keep this from spreading like the disease that it is.
I like it. Probably a good time to move into final thoughts. I mean, guys, my final thoughts is there have always been and there always will be larger private equity backed organizations that come into our space that try to wipe us out. Right? We've seen this before, right? Like the Joe Namath commercials, the Jimmy JJ Walker commercials. You just need to be aware of it, understand what's going on, understand what they're trying to do, make no mistake, and be able to educate your clients on it and your partners. We did not lose a lot of business to the Jimmy JJ Walker, Joe Namath commercials, but what did happen to us when it was going on was we found ourselves having to talk a lot of clients off the ledge on a regular basis. And it sucked. And it wasn't fun. You know, why can't I get $5,000 in dental and $200 a month grocery card? Joe Namath said I could. I'm like, wow, Joe Namath. No. But we've all been there. We've all felt that frustration. That's this in a different way. It's kind of like it's calling your integrity as an agent into question publicly for the whole world to see. How do you feel about that? I think if we stay strong as a community, call this out, fight against it, I think that's how we combat it. So that's my final thoughts on today's episode.
I love it. My final thoughts, you guys, again, I think just being informed when you see something, it'd be easy to see that ad with Dr. Phil and maybe just scroll right on past it. Or if, a client brings it up, I think taking the time to inform yourself when you come across information like that, or you see advertising like that, I think can make a huge difference. And then just helping each other out to stay informed and stay up to date, because the reality is this chapter could just be, one head of Hydra. There might be another chapter behind it. So, we need to, again, stay strong as a community. Just like we talked about at the start of this episode, there's a lot of great organizations and individuals who are really trying to stand up for the independent broker agent community. And regardless of who it is that's on the other side of that fight, we have to really stand tall and be united. So, NABIP, HAFA, two great organizations that are fighting for us, and, do what you can. Stay informed, and hope you guys have a killer AEP. Continue crushing out there. Hashtag to Team Replay, who's most likely watching this because you're out in the field selling right now. And also, I'll kind of tie into my final thoughts here. Freebie Fridays happening every single Friday right here in the Seven Figure Medicare Agent Facebook group. All you have to do is comment on one of our live streams, and it automatically enters you into our giveaway every single Friday. We are giving away free Medicare supplement leads, 100% free. If you don't win, you can buy them for $19 per lead. That is the exclusive call verified Medicare supplement leads from Lead Heroes, which are on discount over 50% off until the end of the month. Save the subs, everybody. Save those subs.
Hashtag save the subs. We'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on whatever the platform you of your choice will allow you to do. 5-star reviews in the works. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Here's to your massive success. Happy AEP, everybody. Later.